What's going on, guys? Today I want to show you a couple tips that I use in my own remixes so that you can start making your own remixes fast. So one of the first things you need to do is find the BPM to the song. That's actually pretty easy. Most of the time you can look it up and you can just find the BPM online. The tempo you can easily find in Serato Sample. That's a super good plugin for finding the key or finding the tempo for songs. Personally, what I use a lot of the time is the metronome app, and it's really easy to use, so I'm just gonna show you right now how you can do that. So I'll pull up a song here real fast. So it's got a little button there that says tap. I'll literally just tap to the beat. Sometimes it'll come out a little bit quick, and easy as that. Mine came out to 176. It's usually half that, so whatever half of that is, it's probably, what is that, like just short of 90. That would be 88. So 88 BPMs. So the next thing you gotta do is find the key to the song. That's pretty easy because you can look that up a lot of the time. As I said, Serato Sample, you can find that in there. As for getting an actual acapella, a lot of the times you can just look them up on YouTube, you can just Google them. The ones that I usually get, I'll download the song first and I'll put it into Acapella Extractor. You're not gonna get a studio quality acapella, but you get something that comes pretty close. Half the time I'm doing lo-fi, so I'm not trying to get super clear sound to begin with. I'm gonna go ahead and link the Acapella Extractor that I use down in the description. So the classic layout basically for remixes is they'll basically use like the verse will come first, and then maybe they'll use like the chorus as right before the drop, and then it'll have a drop. That format can get played out, so if you do something like that, just be sure that you're putting your own flavor on it, because that can get kind of monotonous. Just be mindful when you're basically making, the structure for your remix. Make it interesting, be creative, be original. If you're just starting out, look at what other producers have done. I often use a lot of references to try to see what people have done before me, and then I go and try to put my own twist on it, just have fun with it, basically. So oftentimes what I like to do, and I've heard in a lot of my favorite remixes, is they'll get the acapella and they'll add their own spin on it. You can always pitch the acapella down, you can drown it in reverb like I did on mine. I've heard people basically make their own harmony on the vocal, they send it through like a vocoder or something, and it sounds super cool. You can put delay on it, you can put a chorus effect on it. Just play around with different effects, get creative, try a bunch of things out and see what you like. I'll just solo that out real quick so you can see what that sounds like.
Say hello, mister, pleased to meet you. I wanna hold her, I wanna kiss her.
Right, and it's got all that echo on it. So basically I've just got it running through two different compressors, just trying to kind of keep the vocal in place. And it runs through some saturation to give it like a vintage sound. I've got the knob we got a pretty generous amount on that saturation, and then it runs through the echo. The echo is only automated to go up on certain parts. I think that's after the second part of that verse. And it sounds like it's panning left and right. Before that drop, I've got this kind of lo-fi plug that goes on, right? And pretty much the vocal and the plug, they're just busy enough where they're going on at the same time, and it stays interesting, right? So it's you kind of want to be intentional about the rhythms that you're choosing in your melodies when you're making your remix around a certain vocal. Another idea when remixing, right, is trying to use, your favorite parts of the original and try to basically recreate that in your version. So what I did in this one is I found the melody of the original and I put it in a different instrument. It works to your advantage too, because obviously there's already fans that like certain parts of the original, and if it shows up in your, remixed production of it, it's kind of a win there for you as well. Something intentional I did is in the drop, so I'll actually play that for you real fast. right? So something intentional that has to deal with like the rhythm is, so you'll see these notes right here. This is the pluck, right? And then I've got this little, I don't even know what you'd call it. It's like a mini melody accompaniment. And when that comes in, it's basically just filling in the gap where these parts are not playing. It's like smack in between. So check it out. Right, so it's kind of like it filled in the space in between those, kind of, you know, made things interesting. It was kind of like ear candy almost too, because I want to say I even threw a pancake. Yeah, I threw a pancake on it so that you hear it left and right. Yeah, and I've got the mix at full, and every quarter note, it's going left and right, just bouncing back and forth. That concept can basically be applied to any part of the original, whether that be like, you know, it was an instrument, it was a vocal part, and you can kind of just, you know, accentuate. You can kind of accentuate. You can kind of highlight that element and then put your own original twist on it. I wanted to show you the effects that I threw on the channel for the ad lib that's going on through the drop. So it runs through a compressor, and then it goes through a reverb, and this is the all play spread. It's going through some saturation so it can sound like more vintage basically. And then I cut off a bunch of high end so that it kind of sits back in the mix and it's not like a main feature basically. Another thing that stayed the same from my remix and the original is it's in the same key, and I use the same chord progression that the actual song uses, right? So I've got like some chords that play in the drop, right? And it's I've got that kind of low pass bass under it. So with remixes, obviously you gotta credit the original artist, you know, it's only right. They're the ones that put in the work, they put in the creative work to make the song that you're a fan of, obviously. So just be mindful of where you're uploading it to, you know, if you're putting it on like streaming platforms and stuff. You know, you don't wanna get any copyright infringement or anything like that. If it is something that you do wanna monetize, you always have to go through the original artist or, you know, the record label that put out the original. Honestly, have fun with it too. Pick a song that you really like. I remember the original is obviously by Angus and Julia Stone. I love this song so much, basically, is what I'm saying. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, leave it down in the comments. I'll get back to you. If you guys have any remixes that you guys have made, go ahead and send them to me. I'm always down to listen to your guys' music. As always, please like, subscribe, and hit the little bell icon so you don't miss any future videos. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.